Sorry about that.
That's okay, man. I saw you patiently waiting. I'm just trying to pick a way through, man. What can I help you out with, man? What's going on?
Yeah, I got a few things, but I'll go quick. Well, first of all, thanks for your dedication, military. I was in the Marine Corps, and I helped run the Marine Corps League in Orlando. And I'm not complaining, but my the driving for dollars. I've done about 20 hours or so of it,
Okay.
and I seem like I'm doing the wrong neighborhoods or something. I'm not getting much. So is there a good requirement? Is it like below average
So
uh,
which
median homes?
what state are you in? I mean, you don't have to carry your exact market, but like where are you in the country?
No, I'm Central Florida. Like I said, I run the
Oh,
Orlando
okay.
Marine
So
Corps
you're
League.
just up the street from
So
me.
Orlando
Um,
and Claremont.
so I like to look at median or below average price homes because why do we want to look at that? Because they have the biggest market.
Right.
Okay. And then you're in a rapidly depreciating market. And if you get in those high end homes, a lot of times you can be sitting on them like they just don't move as fast as the smaller one. So like right now, I'm flipping a lot of the average, even well below. And dude, they're moving like hotcakes. The minute I look at a property like 600,000, I'm getting 50, 60, 70 leads being sent to me by realtors and they can't move them. So if they can't move them, how am I going to move them? I have to
Right.
have a massive price discount. And even then, I got to get people over it. And so you got to look at the average price like you're starting out because the reality is, Chris, when you drive through nice neighborhoods, if there's an HOA,
Right.
if the people, they're going to take care of it for them. So I
Sure.
would look for neighborhoods without HOAs, without gated communities. And if you're struggling in the wrong area, first of all, just try some new paths. How long you been in Central Florida for?
Since '98.
Okay, so you know the layout of the land there. So
Yeah.
what another little trick is you can go look on with these satellite photos between your property appraisers and PropStream and Zillow and all this stuff is you can look at neighbors. I like to look at like compact houses packed together that aren't connected.
Okay.
And I look for like some brown grass in between there, some landscaping, and that will usually point you in the right direction because they're going to be on the fringe of the nice neighborhoods. And those houses, I mean, it's standing room only. So a lot of times when you get really good at wholesaling, you can find transitional neighborhoods, and that's where you can do some serious because then you can start going, okay, well, these houses are a little bit bigger, but nobody's like buying it. I'm going to go ahead and take one shot at it. And you kind of go from there. And that's what I love to do about it. But sometimes, listen, if I drive in the neighborhood I live, I won't find one thing. It's impossible.
Right.
But I get 5, 6 miles out. Like it's, me and Zach went out and just, every now and then we just hop in a car and me and him do driving for dollars just to test our markets out. I think we got 300 leads in 2 hours. And I'm
Wow.
talking about like high quality. We were exhausted by the end, but we did number one, to shoot a video, number two, to give my staff leads, and three, just to show you what we're looking for and how it works. So actually, I think he's releasing it in the next week or two. We're going to do a lot of editing with it stuff, but it's like driving for dollars is not, but you do have to drive the right neighborhoods. If every house is perfect, perfect, perfect,
Right.
get out of the neighborhood. You're in the wrong area. Like it's just,
Okay.
that's how it goes.
Makes sense. And then you may run into the same thing I am, but I'm not sure because yourself and Zach a lot will talk about the water shutoff lists.
Yeah.
But I know here, and a lot of times we're getting a lot of the snowbirds.
Yeah.
So they might have shut their water off, but they're snowbirds. So I don't know.
Well, as I said, water shutoffs is not a guarantee.
Right.
It just doesn't work that way. It's something you ask for. If you get it, great in your market. If not, like it's honestly, it's just one of those deals where there's smoke, there's fire.
I
But
got
like
you.
sometimes people are just got a little smoke going on and there's
Right.
no fire. So like, remember, lists are raw. They're never any list
Okay.
you get. If you guys think you're going to get like 1,000 people on a list and every one of them has a guaranteed problem, you're in for a rude awakening. So it's just
Gotcha.
remember each utility, they're a little bit different how they handle that stuff. Like we have one county, it's so screwed up with the water. So we have one city, one tiny little city that runs ready for this. They run the electric and they run the water.
Oh wow.
I have rental properties there. Just the turn on electric on one of my properties, it's $500 cash deposit. They won't take anything else. It's the
Wow.
most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And then if your tenant doesn't pay the bill, they put a lien on the property. So like you constantly, and renters, they can barely afford to move into it. And then you have to make sure you keep a deposit because if they run up the bill, you're stuck with it. And as opposed to FP&L, we don't have that problem. So
Right.
like you'll get to know your local utility departments after a while. So figure out how they deal with snowbirds. Some of them tag them differently, and but
Okay.
it's just like the tax delinquency list. There's
Right.
about 30% of that list where rich people use it just to finance their property tax.
Right.
Hell, I've done it too. Like why? Okay, it's a 3% penalty, 15 grand. Okay, I'll pay it later. Like we do it on our investment properties, our commercial properties. And so I had to learn how to sort the list because I used to call on everyone. I'm like, man, you're wasting a third of your time by doing that. And understanding, I just look for the houses with the average median prices that were 2 years or more behind on their taxes. And those are the rules I established on the tax delinquency list. So every list you have, you
Okay.
want to set parameters according to your market and go, okay, I know this doesn't work, so I'm going to adjust the filter. The problem is 3,500 plus counties across the country. I would be going 24 hours a day, probably for the next 50 years, just to catch you all up on 3,500 counties. And
Right.
so you guys got to kind of do that diligence part. But like you got to understand, a lot of counties you can't even get that list. So if it's a private company, you can't get it.
I got
So
you. Okay.
what else you got?
Last thing. I don't know. It was probably 2 months ago, 3 months ago. You and Zach on on your videos a few times. You talked about when the market changed, it was going to be the best time for you guys.
Yeah.
And so, why do you think that is? You guys never really explained why. You just kind of said, "Well, we got cash on hand," and
So everybody's different. Everybody's in a different situation. So you have to find out what season you are in life. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm in a super fun time in my life. I'm older. My kids I'm approaching empty nester here, and I got a bunch of cash. Like I generate cash. Like I don't have a problem generating cash, and I don't generate cash by coaching. Okay, this
Right.
is the difference between me, guys. I don't generate cash by coaching. Most of the gurus, these wild down payments, everything they do, they're all from you guys. They
Yeah.
make millions of dollars on coaching, so it's easy to buy property sight unseen, blah blah blah. I'm a little bit different. Okay, so now when opportunities come up, I can work with people. I have people I work with on this stream, and my long-term goal is connect with people just like you to get you trained, to help you make money, to help you free your life. And then you have a bigger opportunity comes up and go, I'd really like to bring Rick in on it. You know how many people say, Rick, I just want to send you 10 grand. You're a good guy. Like, I don't want your money. I
Right.
don't operate that way. Here's what I want. If you find an insane deal and you can't figure out how to wrap your head and put it together, and it falls under the motivation factors of what we teach,
Right.
reach out to me. We'll do it. And now I have the opportunity of multiple deals. I'm doing them like all over the country, and deals that I would have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to even have access, because everybody knows somebody. Okay.
Right.
I got a 50 unit here, a 25 unit here. I'm going to shoot a ton of videos for you guys and show you this stuff. And to me, when the market comes down, now they're all making the decisions like, okay, I need to move on. I'm finding very, very tired landlords. I'm finding people feel like they can't go any further with this property, or it needs a ton of repairs. So when markets change, decisions are made. Okay.
Right.
In an economy where it's just been shooting up, and then everything that happened with the pandemic do you know, right before the pandemic, all this was going to happen anyways. I'm just going to let you all know. We were going to go into this regardless. Okay.
Right.
The pandemic fueled the politicians to just throw so much money in the economy. It wasn't just the United States, it was all over the world. Now
Mhm.
people are trying to figure out how to get returns on everything. And this causes chaos. And whenever you have chaos, panic ensues. What happens when people panic? Emotions get involved. Have you ever really made a decision based purely on emotions? Tell me the outcome. It usually doesn't work out well for you in the long run.
Right.
And this is what's going to happen in the market. When the mob says, oh my God, real estate's in trouble, you better get rid of the house now, I'm scared to death. That's when people like me go, well, I'll buy it, but here's my conditions to buy it.
Right.
And so you write the rules. The last 5 years, it's been painful. Honestly, I was really bothered the way the market. Now, I made a ton of money doing it, but I would buy a property 80, 85 cents on the dollar, and then I'd sell it for 100. I'd sell it. I would jack it up to 100% and usually throw another 10 to 15% on it. So
Right.
we've been playing pseudo realtors for 5 years. To me,
Right.
it's not as fun. This market, I, people are going to make decisions. All these FISBOs I taught you on that first list today, they're all every day. You know what happens every day? The days on market ticks up more and more. Every
Right.
30 days are like they just get, so they keep talking, and every conversation they have is going to get a little bit more desperate. So what
Right.
I'm saying is this market is, we've been on such a cruise control for 11 years, guys, not 5 years, 11 years, that a lot of the market has not seen this type of change, and you're going to see panic. And when you see
Right.
panic, emotional decisions are made. And when people go solely off their emotions, the truth of the human nature is you usually make a grave mistake. Now, it's
Right.
not my job to tell you if you need to sell or not. My job is just to provide the opportunity to it. So that's how I view the market. Now, that being said, understanding you can't time wholesaling. If you just get started, you'll do fine. I've made a ton of money in the highest part of the market. I've made a ton of money in the lowest part of the market. So the key is just to get started. So I'm in later part of my wholesaling career, whereas like I can enjoy and just buy stuff. I can pay realtors. Here's this key thing, guys. I still do wholesaling. I run an entire 7-figure business on it, but I can go out and find any piece of distressed asset I want if the price is right, because I hold the cash. And if you decide to do it with me, then I'll get it done. But there's going to be a fee for doing this for me. I will solve your problem, but there's going to be a fee. What happens is when there's more people selling, there's more people buying, you can dictate a lot of things. So creative financing is going to explode. I mean,
Right.
it's already kicked in, but in 2023, it's going to be phenomenal. Guys, you realize we're only in like month 6 of a market that's going downwards, and they truly haven't even defined it a buyer's market yet. We are deep into a buyer's market. So we got another pretty much guaranteed 2 rate increases.
Right.
We're going to approach 9% on mortgages. How many people can buy a $500,000 to $700,000, $800,000 house on a 9% mortgage? It's going to be hard.
Right.
So what that is every time the rates go up, real estate's going to be discounted more and more. And then more people, after a while, everybody who has their property on the market, they now have to compete. How do you compete with a realtor when your house is on the market? There's only one way. You got to lower your price.
Right.
And if everyone keeps lowering their prices, comps go lower, and eventually people panic and like, okay, here we go. It was so bad in 2010, 11. I mean, I could buy a house from my neighbors, my friends. Guys, I'm not making this up. It was so bad. And the only mistake I made is I didn't think bigger. I should have bought everything and I should have kept it. I was buying houses in Port St. Lucie for 30 to 40 grand that were over $200,000 9 months before. That's
Wow.
how bad it was. But you had to have cash. And when I was assigning deals, I was making $2,000 and $3,000. But I do 10 houses a month. It wasn't a problem. It was a lot of work. So I worked my butt off, but I learned a lot with it. So your opportunities are only going to get better each month, Chris. But I'm
Okay.
here to tell you, you're just going to you got to spend more time with cash buyers and find out what they want. And if you guys are like I got nervous when the market was spinning because I was a little bit younger and like nobody ever experienced anything like that. And there was no rules. So we didn't know, like people like property's going to go to zero. I go, well, it can't go to zero. But
Right.
in Port St. Lucie, we dropped 60%. And all the data I ever saw said that's an impossibility. Well, it happened. And then remember, I had 26 homes I owned with renters in them that stopped paying me. I had mortgages on them. I had a real shit show going on, man. Like it was crazy. I'm just like, so like when you feel, if you ever felt like, oh my God, this thing's spinning out of control, like you ever sat there and like you start eating some ice cream or something, like you just like you go, oh, what the heck? Let me just keep eating. And it's like, what's the point now? You just like you get emotionally invested and you start doing stuff you're not supposed to do. The same thing happens in real estate. And then
Right.
when you get relationships with married people and like houses, they get nervous when houses go down. Do an experiment, guys. Go out to Home Depot tonight or tomorrow and look at the foot traffic there. It is very, very light. People are not rehabbing houses. People feel less secure. And a big part of the United States places their self-worth on real estate. You know why that is?
No,
because people's greatest asset is usually their own home. And
true.
honestly, my goal is to teach every one of you, you want to get out of that stuff. Always have a home. I don't care how you do it, rent it, your home's it, but your home should not be your retirement investment. You're not thinking big enough if you do that. You need to go buy investment properties to pay for your home and do it that way. So most Americans, 95% rely on their house as their net worth. So when that net worth goes down, they start vacations start cut short. We're going to cut back on this. We're not going to paint the house this year, and then that's where the opportunities lie in. So does it make sense?
Makes sense.
So it's I think December, January is going to be like the dinner bell is going to ring there. It's like, uh-oh, because what happens Christmas? You got to buy a lot of gifts. Groceries are crazy. Guys, I went to the grocery. Now, I don't go to the grocery store often, but I wanted to get something. My wife goes, you're going to be in sticker shock. You haven't been there. I haven't been there in like 6 months. I was in shock. I could not believe how much eggs and like creamer cost. I mean, and I'm just like a regular guy, and it's not. I'm like, it's not that I can't afford it. I just like everything seems like 3 to 4 times the price. And if I'm thinking like that, what do you think the rest of the Americans are thinking? Actually, it's all over the world. I saw a report the other day, like people up in Boston and like Maine, the cost of I don't know if it was like LP gas or what it was. They said it's like $7 a gallon, and the average house, they need 800 gallons to get through season. So it costs like $5,600 to heat your house in the winter. And these are people on fixed budgets that are retired. I mean, guys, motivation's going to get insane here. So I'm not familiar with like the Northeast, but like you guys, the cost of energy and fuels are ridiculous. Right. And guys, when all this stuff comes, it's every month it's compounding and people are making cuts. Eventually you just run out of cuts, you run out of money. So what do? You sell your house. And that's what's going to happen here. And I'm telling you guys, these decisions are going to be made all across the board. So not that I'm excited. I don't want to see anyone suffer, but I have to go through the same thing. So I want you guys to use wholesaling to carve your future. I think right now is amazing. I think 2023, boy, if you want to buy and hold some, my God, 2023 could be insane. But if you need to dig your hole out and you just need to get your rent paid, 2023 will be amazing too. And so use this, guys. It doesn't matter when you start. The key is just get started. I've made it when it's high. I've made it when the market's low. Whenever there's change, that's when the opportunity starts. The money's being made now of the people making decisions to market and chase down motivated sellers. So
right. All right, Rick.
Okay, man. We'll talk again, buddy. I appreciate it.